I found my wife having sex with my best friend in an emergency stairwell at 3:14 a.m. on a cruise ship somewhere between Grand Cayman and Jamaica. And instead of screaming or throwing punches, I pulled out my phone, set it to silent, took exactly 6 photos, and walked away. Because I'd already learned that revenge isn't about rage. It's about patience, planning, and making sure everyone you both know watches it happen. If you've got the time, and maybe something to eat because this is going to take a while, settle in. This story has everything: betrayal, lies, a very public confrontation, and consequences that rippled through more lives than I ever intended. But it starts way before that stairwell. It starts with a kind of slow, creeping doubt that makes you feel insane for even thinking it. Here's what you need to know up front. I spent 9 years married to someone I thought I knew. My best friend since college was someone I'd have taken a bullet for. And in the span of 1 week on a Caribbean cruise, I discovered they'd been lying to my face for months, destroyed both relationships in front of 2,000 strangers, and somehow came out the other side a completely different person. Whether that person is better or worse, I'm still figuring out. But let me back up. 3 months before that stairwell, before the cruise, before everything fell apart, I was just a guy trying to keep his marriage together. It was July 2024, and Amanda, my wife, came home from work one evening with this excited look on her face. I was grading summer school papers at the kitchen table, red pen in hand, circling the same grammar mistakes I'd been circling for 15 years. She dropped her purse on the counter with more force than necessary and said, "I have an idea." I looked up. "Yeah? We should do a couples cruise with Jake and Sarah." I put down my pen. A cruise. That was out of nowhere. We'd been talking about fixing the fence in the backyard, maybe getting new tires for her car, not a cruise. Jake Morrison had been my best friend since freshman year at UCLA, 2005, when we were 18 and stupid and thought we knew everything. We'd been roommates for 3 years. I'd held his hair back when he puked after too much tequila. I'd helped him through his parents' messy divorce junior year, letting him crash on my couch for 2 months. When I got accepted to the teaching credential program and he flunked out of business school, I'd lent him money, $5,000 that I never saw again, though he swore he'd pay me back. He was the best man at my wedding. When people called him unreliable or selfish, I defended him. "That's just Jake," I'd say. "He means well." And Sarah, his wife of 5 years, was great. A pediatric nurse with curly red hair and this warm laugh that made you feel like you'd known her forever. Down to earth. The kind of person who remembered your birthday and asked how your mom was doing and brought homemade cookies to parties. "A cruise?" I said. "Amanda, we're talking thousands of dollars." She rolled her eyes. I'd seen that eye roll a lot lately. "Michael, we never do anything fun anymore. You're always working or grading papers or doing some extra tutoring job. I'm exhausted from the dental office. We need this." And Jake's been saying the same thing. He and Sarah need to reconnect too. Something about the way she said Jake's name made me pause. Not quite lingering on the syllable, but close. A slight softness. I pushed it down. I was being paranoid. Jake was my best friend. Amanda had known him as long as I had. They were friendly. That was normal. "Let me think about it," I said. She came around the table and kissed the top of my head. Her lips were cold. "Don't take too long. The good deals won't last. I already looked. There's a 7-day Caribbean cruise in October. Only $3,000 per couple if we book this week." 3,000. I did the math in my head. We had maybe 400 in our vacation fund. I'd been saving that for emergency repairs. But Amanda was looking at me with this hopeful expression I hadn't seen in months, and I thought, maybe this will fix things. Maybe this is what we need. "I'll think about it," I said again. Within 2 days, Jake was texting me constantly. "Dude, come on. When's the last time we all hung out? Let's do this." It felt coordinated, like they'd planned the sales pitch together. But again, I pushed it down. Here's the thing about being a conflict-avoidant person. You get really good at ignoring your gut. You tell yourself you're being reasonable, mature, not jumping to conclusions. But your gut, it knows. It always knows. I took a summer tutoring job, extra $3,000 to help pay for the cruise. Amanda barely said thank you. Just, "You always make it work," like it was inevitable. Like my sacrifices weren't choices. August rolled into September, and the red flags started piling up. Amanda's phone habits changed overnight. She started taking it everywhere: bathroom, shower, to bed, face down on the nightstand. When I asked about it once, she snapped, "Why are you being so paranoid? Don't you trust me?" And just like that, I was the bad guy for noticing. She started going to the gym 6 times a week. "Getting my cruise body ready," she said, taking selfies in yoga pants, posting them to Instagram. She'd never been this obsessed with fitness before. Our sex life dried up. She was always too tired, but somehow had energy for midnight texts I could hear through the bedroom door. I mentioned it to my colleague David one afternoon. We were in the teacher's lounge, and I just said it. "Do you ever feel crazy for noticing things?" David, who'd been through a divorce 2 years earlier, looked at me for a long moment. "What kind of things?" "Like my wife taking her phone to the bathroom, staying up late texting, going to the gym constantly." He leaned back in his chair. "You can't unknow what you know, Michael. If you're noticing, there's usually something there." But I didn't want it to be true, so I convinced myself the cruise would fix everything. Quality time, reconnection. I even suggested couples therapy before we left, and Amanda shut it down immediately. "We're fine. You're overthinking everything. This trip is exactly what we need." The week before the cruise, I found her texting at 11 p.m., smiling at her phone in a way she hadn't smiled at me in months. "Who's that?" I asked. She jumped, locked her phone. "Sarah, we're excited about the cruise." I didn't believe her, but I didn't push it. I opened her laptop the next day, something I'd never done in 9 years, and saw she'd deleted a message thread in iMessage, just gone. I confronted her. "Why are you deleting texts?" She turned it around on me instantly. "Why are you going through my stuff? That's a huge invasion of privacy. What's wrong with you?" I apologized. I actually apologized for catching her in something suspicious. And she let me apologize, and I felt like garbage, and nothing got resolved. October 12th, 2024, Miami Port. The majestic seas, one of those massive cruise ships with 16 decks and more passengers than my entire hometown. Amanda was taking photos non-stop. "Get a picture of us," she kept saying, handing her phone to strangers. She wanted documentation of our perfect relationship. I should have seen the irony. Jake and Sarah arrived, Jake all loud enthusiasm, Sarah quieter than usual. When Jake hugged Amanda, his hand landed on her lower back, just for a second. Too familiar. Sarah saw me watching. Our eyes met, and I knew in that moment that she was suspicious too. The first night was forced cheerfulness. Dinner at the main dining room, assigned seating with linen tablecloths and waiters in tuxedos. Amanda and Jake ordered the same thing without discussing it. Eggs Benedict, hold the hollandaise. When did they become so in sync? I went to bed around 11, exhausted from travel. Amanda said she was staying up for one more drink with Sarah. I fell asleep thinking maybe I was paranoid. Maybe this would work. I woke up at 6 a.m. on day 2. Amanda was already showered and dressed. Amanda, who usually slept until 9. "Morning, babe," she said, too bright. Couldn't sleep. Went for a walk. At breakfast, I watched them. The 4 of us at the buffet, everyone making small talk. And Amanda and Jake moved like a choreographed dance. She'd get coffee, he'd grab creamer. He'd reach for bacon, she'd hand him a plate. When had they practiced this? "You two are very in sync," I said, trying to sound casual. Jake laughed. "Great minds, man." Amanda shot me a look. "Don't start with your weird observations, Michael." And there it was. I was weird for noticing. I was the problem. Pool day on deck 12. Amanda and Jake volunteered to get drinks together. "We'll go. You guys save the chairs." Leaving me and Sarah alone for 15 minutes. I tried to make conversation. "Everything okay with you and Jake?" Sarah looked at me carefully. "Why do you ask?" Before I could answer, they were back, laughing about some inside joke from the bar. Sarah's face closed off. The moment passed. That afternoon, Amanda left her phone on the lounge chair. She never did that. Never. I saw it light up. A text preview from Jay. Just one letter. The message said, "Tonight?" She came back from the bathroom, saw me looking, grabbed the phone. "Just Jake asking about dinner plans." Her voice was sharp. "Why are you so obsessed with my phone?" "I'm not. You are. It's exhausting, Michael." Day 3. Cozumel port stop. We split up. Amanda, Jake, and Sarah did a couples spa day, and I went snorkeling alone. I needed space to think. Underwater, everything was quiet, peaceful, no phones, no lies. Just me and the fish and the crushing weight of knowing something was very, very wrong. I got back to the ship at 2 p.m. The others weren't back yet. I checked the spa. They'd finished at 11:30 a.m. Where were they from noon to 4? When they finally showed up at 4:30, Amanda said they'd hung out at a beach club. I asked which one. Cozumel has dozens. She couldn't remember the name. Why does it matter? God, Michael. What's with the interrogation? That night, I couldn't sleep. I walked the deck at 11:47 p.m., staring at the black Caribbean water, and I ran into Sarah. She was alone too. Can't sleep either, she asked. Mind's racing. There was this long pause, and then she said, Michael, have you noticed anything off? My heart started pounding. Like what? She looked like she was going to say something, then stopped herself. Never mind, I'm just tired. Sarah, if something's wrong, I need to go. She rushed away, leaving me standing there alone. The next day, day 4, Grand Cayman, Sarah and I did a turtle farm excursion while Amanda and Jake went to 7 Mile Beach. 2 hours in, Sarah finally said it. I think they're sleeping together. The world stopped. You too? I said. I found texts on Jake's phone, months of flirting. He said it was just friendship. But Michael, I know what I saw. We spent the rest of the day comparing notes. Jake's late work meetings lined up perfectly with Amanda's yoga classes. Both had new privacy habits. Both had been emotionally distant from us for months. We made a pact. If we found proof, we'd act together. But we both still hoped we were wrong. That night, group dinner felt surreal, everyone acting normal. Amanda took my hand across the table. I'm so glad we did this, she said, squeezing my fingers. I wanted to throw up. After dinner, Amanda said she was going to bed early. Jake said the same. Big day tomorrow in Jamaica. Sarah and I exchanged a look, but said nothing. I lay in bed next to Amanda, wide awake. At 2:47 a.m., her phone buzzed on the nightstand. I looked. Awake? From Jay. She didn't go meet him because I was right there next to her. But that text told me everything. At 3:10 a.m., I gave up on sleep. Got out of bed carefully so I wouldn't wake her. Went for a walk on the deck. I'd been doing that every night. I needed to use the bathroom, so I went to the public restroom on deck 9 near the emergency stairwell. And I heard sounds. Coming from the stairwell, the door was slightly ajar. They hadn't closed it all the way. Careless. I pushed it open just a little, and there they were. Amanda had her back to the door. Didn't see me. Jake saw me over her shoulder. His eyes went wide. He froze. Couldn't speak without giving himself away. I didn't say anything. Didn't scream. Didn't cry. I pulled out my phone, switched to silent mode, and took 6 photos. Clean shots, time-stamped, location tagged, undeniable. Then I backed away slowly, turned around, and walked back to my cabin. Amanda was still in bed when I got back. She'd left a pillow in her place, took her phone, but left the decoy. I sat on the balcony and watched the sun come up. Just sat there, completely numb, watching the horizon turn pink and gold. She came back at 5:30 a.m., slipped into bed like nothing happened. I pretended to be asleep. You can't unknow what you know. And I knew everything now. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I sat on that balcony until sunrise, and I made a decision. If she was going to destroy our marriage in front of me, I was going to destroy her reputation in front of everyone. When the sun was fully up, I texted Sarah. Deck 4 railing, 9 a.m., alone. She was there at 9:01. I didn't say anything, just showed her the photos. Her face went white. Oh my God, when? This morning, 3:14, emergency stairwell, deck 9. Sarah started crying right there, leaning against the railing, shoulders shaking. We were two people whose entire worlds had just shattered, standing on a boat in the middle of the ocean with nowhere to go. What do we do? She asked. I don't know yet, I said, but I'm not doing it alone. We spent the day in the ship's library, empty mid-afternoon, reconstructing everything. The timeline. How long had it been going on? Sarah said she found texts going back to August, 2 months minimum, maybe longer. I feel so stupid, Sarah said. I defended him, I said. For years. When people said he was selfish, I made excuses. And this whole time, I told my family you were like a brother to Jake. We sat in silence for a long time, the humiliation bonding us. That night, we had to sit through formal dinner with them. Black tie, assigned seating. Amanda held my hand at the table. "Why are you being so quiet?" she whispered. "Headache? Too much sun?" Jake leaned over. "You okay, man? You look rough." "I'm fine," I said. My voice was ice. Sarah barely spoke. Her eyes were red. Jake didn't notice, or didn't care. After dinner, Amanda suggested we go to bed early. "Together," she said with this look. She was trying to cover her tracks, keep me from being suspicious. I said I wasn't feeling well, told her to stay out with Sarah. She looked annoyed but agreed. Freedom to see Jake again. I sat alone in our cabin that night and called my sister, Rachel. She's a lawyer in Seattle. When she answered, I just started talking, voice breaking. "Where are you?" she asked. "What happened?" I told her everything. "Come home," she said immediately. "Right now, helicopter evac if you have to." "I can't," I said. "Rachel, I'm in the middle of the ocean. I'm trapped here with them for 3 more days." "Then make those 3 days count," she said. "Document everything. I'll have divorce papers ready when you dock." I hung up and sat on the balcony, watching the dark water. Amanda came back at midnight. I pretended to be asleep. She showered, washing off Jake, then climbed into bed and whispered, "I love you." I lay there in the dark, eyes wide open, and thought, I'm not going to yell. I'm not going to cry in front of them. I'm going to make sure everyone sees exactly who they are. And I have 2.5 days to make it perfect. The next morning, day 5, Sarah and I met at 6 a.m. in the solarium on deck 14. Completely deserted at that hour, just rows of empty lounge chairs and the soft hum of the ship's engines. The sun was starting to rise over the Caribbean, painting everything gold. And for a moment it felt absurd, planning revenge in paradise. We sat with coffee that tasted like burnt plastic and started planning. "The captain's gala is Saturday night," I said. 2,000 people, formal black tie event, public. Sarah's eyes widened. "You want to expose them? There?" "I want everyone who matters to them to know," I said. "Family, friends, colleagues, everyone. And I have a plan, but I need your help. Tell me what you need." First call, Rachel, my sister, the lawyer in Seattle. She answered on the second ring, voice groggy. "Michael, it's 6 in the morning here. I need your help." She was awake instantly. "What do we need to do?" We talked for 40 minutes. She'd been researching all night. Barely slept, she admitted. Florida is a no-fault divorce state, which means you don't technically need to prove adultery to divorce, but it still matters for alimony determination and asset division. And more importantly, it matters for the court of public opinion. "If you document this right," Rachel said, "you don't just win the divorce, you win your life back. You prove you weren't crazy. You prove you had every reason to leave." She gave me a list of action items. Collect all financial records, credit card statements going back to when the affair started, looking for suspicious charges, restaurants I didn't go to, hotels during business trips. She'd file emergency divorce petitions remotely, getting the paperwork ready for Saturday morning so I could serve Amanda the moment we docked. "You'll need a process server at the port," Rachel said. "I want to do it myself, publicly." There was a pause. "Michael, are you sure?" "I've never been more sure of anything." Then Sarah and I split up. It was Jamaica Port Day. Amanda and Jake had signed up for a reef snorkeling excursion together. "Just the 2 of us," Amanda had said at breakfast. "You and Sarah should do your own thing." Sarah and I nodded and smiled, and the moment they left the ship, we got to work. I spent 2 hours going through everything, downloaded all photos from my phone, the stairwell images, and dozens of others from the past 4 days. Evidence of how close they sat at dinner, how often they disappeared together. I screenshotted Find My Friend's location history. Showing times, Amanda's phone said one thing, but I'd seen her somewhere else. Then I went to guest services with a rehearsed story. During yesterday's evacuation drill, my wife and I got separated. "Is there any way to check the keycard access logs? She gets disoriented easily." The woman looked sympathetic. "Of course, sir." She printed a report. Amanda's keycard had accessed cabin 6142, Jake's cabin, 4 times in 4 days. Different times. Always when I thought she was at the gym or spa. Meanwhile, Sarah got into Jake's laptop, found hotel booking websites, Marriott, Hilton, dates matching his supposed business trips. She photographed receipts from his wallet, romantic restaurants when he had told her he was working late, got phone records from Verizon showing hundreds of texts between Jake and Amanda. We met back up in the library at 2 p.m. Everything spread out on a table, months of deception in black and white. "This is insane," Sarah whispered. "How did we not see it?" "Because we trusted them," I said. Then came the social media plan. Sarah pulled up her contacts. "My whole family is on this ship. Jake's parents, my sister, our college friends. They all need to know." I pulled up mine. Colleagues, neighbors, Amanda's boss. 47 contacts total. People who knew us. "We create a private cloud album," I said. "Upload everything. Write a statement. Just facts, timeline, evidence, no emotion. After the gala, after everyone on this ship has seen them exposed, we send the link to everyone who matters." "They'll both lose their jobs," Sarah said quietly. "They made their choice," I said. Saturday night's Captain's Gala was the ship's big formal event. Talent show, karaoke, open sign-ups, limited slots. I went to guest services and signed up. Karaoke performance, one song. "Which song?" the woman asked. "My Heart Will Go On." Celine Dion. Everyone knows it. I also asked if I could add custom photos to the background slideshow. "An anniversary tribute to my wife," she beamed. "That's so sweet. Submit them by Friday and we'll load them in." But I wasn't submitting the photos I told her about. I found Marcus, a 28-year-old AV technician, smoking on the crew deck Friday afternoon. I was honest. "I need your help with something unusual. My wife is cheating on me with my best friend. I have proof. Saturday night at the gala is my one chance to make sure everyone knows." He looked uncomfortable. "Man, I could get fired." I showed him the photos, the stairwell, the texts. His face softened. "What do you need?" "I need to control the slideshow during my karaoke performance. Photos I choose, not what I officially submit." He was quiet for a long time. Then, 500 cash, and you tell my supervisor any tech issues weren't my fault. Deal. Friday night, Sarah and I practiced in an empty cabin. Timing. I'd sing 2 verses, 90 seconds, then stop. Say, "I need to tell you all something." While I talked, the slideshow would shift from innocent couple photos to evidence. Hotel receipts, text screenshots, the stairwell photo. A final slide with giant text. Amanda Patterson and Jake Morrison, 8+ months of lies. "What if they run?" Sarah asked. "Theater seats 1-200 with 800 standing room. They're in the center section. They'd have to climb over people. What if they fight back? Let them. It'll make it worse." Rachel couriered the divorce papers to Port Authority in Miami. They were printed, signed, notarized, waiting. After the gala reveal, we'd publicly serve them both. "You're sure about this?" Rachel asked on the phone. "Once you do it, you can't take it back." "I don't want to take it back." Friday night, Amanda asked what I was planning for the gala. I told her it was a surprise. She smiled. "I love surprises." "You have no idea," I thought. Saturday morning, last full day at sea. Amanda was packing, cheerful. "Can't believe it's almost over. We should do this again next year. Let's see how tonight goes first." At 3 p.m., I met Marcus at the theater for dress rehearsal. He'd loaded everything into the system. I was performance slot 12 out of 15, around 9:15 p.m. "Everyone will be drunk by then," I said. Loose, unsuspecting. Marcus showed me the setup. First 90 seconds, innocent photos, wedding, vacations, smiling. Then, stairwell photo, texts, receipts, timeline, final slide with their names. "It's perfect," I said. "Good luck, man. For what it's worth, they deserve it." At 6 p.m., we got dressed, tuxedos and gowns. Formal night, Amanda looked at me. "You look handsome. Nervous about your performance?" "Not anymore. I know exactly what I'm doing." She kissed my cheek. "I'm proud of you for trying something new." The irony was unreal. Dinner at 7:30. Jake made a toast. "To our last night, best vacation ever." I raised my glass. "Actually, I want to make a toast too, to the truth, May it always come to light. Amanda laughed awkwardly. That's random, but okay. Jake grinned. Deep, man. You feeling okay? Never better. The gala started at 8:15. Theater packed. 2,247 passengers, according to the cruise director's announcement. She stood on stage in a sequined gown and said it with such pride, like it was an accomplishment just getting that many people in one room. Standing room only in the back. The air was thick with perfume and cologne and the anticipation of free entertainment. Amanda, Jake, Sarah, and I sat center section, row H. Perfect visibility for everyone in the theater. We were surrounded by strangers who'd become witnesses. The elderly couple to our left, celebrating their 50th anniversary. The family with 3 kids to our right. All of them would remember this night. The first 11 performances were exactly what you'd expect. A woman in her 60s singing Don't Stop Believin', off-key. Twin boys doing a dance routine they'd clearly learned from TikTok. A dad telling jokes that were old when I was born. A teenager playing acoustic guitar, nervous and earnest. The crowd was generous, applauding everything, drunk on watered-down cocktails and vacation energy. Amanda leaned over during the 8th performance, a magician making a scarf disappear. "When are you up?" she whispered. "Soon." She put her hand on my thigh, squeezed, an affectionate gesture, the kind she used to do back when we were actually happy, performing for the people around us. I looked down at her hand, her wedding ring catching the stage lights, and I felt nothing. I removed her hand gently. "I need to focus." She looked confused but didn't push it. The performances continued, a woman singing At Last, a group of friends doing a choreographed dance to Uptown Funk. Every few minutes, I checked my watch. 8:47, 8:53, 9:02. Getting closer. Jake leaned forward at one point, catching my eye. "You really doing this, man? Karaoke? I didn't know you had the guts." "There's a lot you don't know about me," I said. He laughed, completely missing the weight of that statement. "Can't wait to see it." At 9:13 p.m., the cruise director returned to the stage. "All right, folks, we've got just a few more wonderful performances for you tonight. Next up, we have Michael Patterson singing." She glanced at her card. "My Heart Will Go On" by Celine Dion. Let's give him a big round of applause. The theater erupted in cheers. Someone behind me yelled, "Titanic!" Another person whistled. I stood up. My legs felt steady despite everything. I'd been running on pure adrenaline for 48 hours. I walked to the stage, and as I passed Jake, I paused, looked down at him. He grinned up at me, oblivious. "Wish me luck, man." "You got this." He held up his fist for a bump. I left him hanging. The stage lights were blinding. I took the microphone from the stand, and for a second, I could barely see the audience, just a sea of dark shapes and the occasional glow of a phone screen. Then my eyes adjusted. 2,047 people, all of them watching me, expecting a sweet tribute to my wife, maybe a funny moment of stage fright, a memory they could laugh about later, over breakfast. The music started, the opening notes of My Heart Will Go On, that haunting flute melody that everyone recognizes within 3 seconds. The big screens behind me lit up with the slideshow. First image, our wedding photo. Amanda in white, me in a tuxedo, both of us young and hopeful and stupid. I started singing. Every night in my dreams, my voice was surprisingly steady. I'd practiced in the shower a few times over the years, but never seriously, never in front of anyone. The audience swayed. Some people pulled out their phones to record. Romantic moment. Sweet husband. Anniversary cruise. The slideshow continued. Our honeymoon in Hawaii. Christmas morning 3 years ago. Amanda's birthday party. All of us smiling, all of it a lie. I sang the chorus. Near, far, wherever you are. People started singing along. This was their song too, their movie, their memories. Phone flashlights went up, 2,000 tiny lights in the darkness. It looked beautiful. It looked like everything was perfect. I started the second verse and the slideshow changed. The stairwell photo appeared on the screens. 10 feet tall. For a moment, it was just abstract shapes. Skin, fabric, shadows, people squinting, trying to figure out what they were seeing. Then understanding rippled through the theater like a wave. I heard gasps, confused murmurs. I stopped singing mid-line. The music continued for exactly 3 seconds. I believe that the heart does go. And then Marcus cut it. Silence crashed down on the theater like a physical thing. Every eye was on me. 2,047 people holding their breath. I need to tell you all something, I said. My voice came out calm, steady, like I was announcing a weather report. I gestured to the screen behind me. That's my wife, Amanda, and my best friend, Jake. This photo was taken 4 days ago at 3:14 a.m. in the emergency stairwell on deck 9. They've been having an affair for at least 8 months. The gasp was like thunder. Someone screamed, an actual scream. People started talking at once, a rising tide of shock and confusion and morbid fascination. The next slide appeared, text message screenshots, zoomed in so everyone could read them. Miss you already, with a heart emoji. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. What time can you get away? Undeniable? These are texts they thought they deleted, I said, my voice cutting through the noise. The theater had gone quiet again, everyone hanging on every word. This next photo shows hotel bookings Jake made during business trips. The Marriott in Denver on September 3rd, the Hilton in Phoenix on September 18th. Dates he told his wife he was meeting clients, but the bookings were for double occupancy, king beds, romantic packages. Another slide. The hotel confirmation emails, Jake's name, his credit card, the dates circled in red. This one shows my wife's keycard access logs from this ship. She accessed Jake's cabin on deck 6 4 times this week, at 2 a.m. on Monday, 1:30 a.m. on Wednesday, 11:45 p.m. on Thursday, and again on Friday afternoon while I thought she was at the spa. I could see them now in the audience. Row H, center section. Amanda had gone completely white, like all the blood had drained from her face. She was shaking. Jake was half standing, looking wildly around for an exit, but the row was packed. People on both sides blocking him. The couple next to him, the anniversary couple, were staring at him with open disgust. I found out Tuesday night at 3:14 a.m., I continued. I could have confronted them then. I could have screamed and cried and made a scene in private, but I didn't, because I wanted to make sure everyone who matters to us knew the truth. I wanted to make sure they couldn't lie their way out of this. I wanted everyone to see exactly who they are. The final slide appeared, giant block letters filling the screen. Amanda Patterson and Jake Morrison. 8+ months of lies. The theater exploded. Boos rained down from the upper sections. People yelling, "Unbelievable! Cheaters! Oh my God!" Phones were out everywhere, recording. This would be online in minutes. This would go viral. Jake was pushing at the people in his row now, desperate. Excuse me, I need to get out." But they weren't moving. The man next to him, the anniversary husband, crossed his arms and said, "I don't think so, buddy." Amanda was sobbing, loud, gasping sobs that carried across the theater. Her hands were over her face, mascara running between her fingers. "Michael, please," she choked out. "Not like this. Please not like this." "Sarah Morrison is here too," I said, and I gestured to her. She'd been sitting 2 seats away from Jake, stone-faced. Now she stood up, and the spotlight found her. She walked to the stage with her head high, and I saw tears on her face, but her voice didn't shake. "I'm Jake's wife," she said into my microphone. "Or I was. I filed for divorce yesterday. These papers," she pulled them from her purse, held them up for everyone to see, "are real, legal, notarized. I found out 2 days ago, and like Michael, I wanted everyone to know the truth." She turned to look at Jake in the audience. He was still standing, trapped in his row, face red. "Jake, I hope she was worth it. I hope 8 months of lying to my face and sneaking around was worth losing everything, because that's what you've lost, everything." I pulled my own divorce papers from inside my tuxedo jacket, held them up. "Amanda, you wanted me to try something new tonight." I looked right at her, and she was staring at me with this expression of pure horror. Surprise. People in the theater were on their feet now, some booing, some cheering, actually cheering, like this was sports, some just staring in shock. The family with 3 kids to our right was ushering their children out quickly. the mother covering the youngest one's ears. But most people stayed. This was better than any show the cruise line could have planned. Security approached the stage. Captain Rodriguez appeared, trying to calm the crowd. Amanda tried to leave her row. People wouldn't move. Someone yelled, "Cheater!" Jake finally broke through, ran to the exit. The audience booed him as he fled. Amanda collapsed in her seat, mascara streaming down her face. Eventually, people let her pass. She stumbled out, and I watched her go. Sarah and I stayed on stage. The cruise director stood frozen. The captain took the mic. "Show is postponed. Please exit orderly." The theater emptied slowly, everyone talking at once. People approached us in the hallway afterward. "That was brutal. They deserved it. Are you okay?" That took guts. Ship security took us to their office. Standard procedure for incidents. Captain Rodriguez came in. "Did you plan this?" he asked. "Yes," I said. He should have been angry. Instead, he said, "I have a cheating ex-wife. I get it." Then added, "Ship policy. We keep you separated until disembarkation tomorrow. Understood?" "Understood." As security walked me back to my cabin, hundreds of passengers stared. Some nodded. Some looked horrified. I didn't care. For the first time in months, I could breathe. But the hard part wasn't over. Back in the cabin alone, Amanda had been moved elsewhere by staff. My phone exploded with messages. Rachel. "Holy shit, you did it!" David from work. Someone posted video to Twitter. "It's going viral." Strangers. "You're a legend." That was harsh. Sorry you went through that. I turned off my phone, sat on the balcony. I'd expected to feel triumphant. Instead, I just felt hollow. I couldn't help myself. I checked Twitter before I turned the phone off. The video had 847,000 views, 90 minutes after it happened. Comments ranged from "justice served" to "this is psychotic behavior" to "both can be wrong." This was permanent now. Public forever. At 2 a.m., there was a knock on my cabin door. I opened it. Amanda. She'd been crying for hours, face swollen, voice destroyed. "Can we talk, please?" There's nothing to say. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I made a mistake. A mistake is forgetting to take out the trash." This was hundreds of choices. "I don't know what I was thinking. I love you. You can't unknow what you know, and I know who you really are now. Please don't do this. We can fix it. You fixed it in that stairwell. I just made sure everyone else knew. You didn't have to do it like that, in front of everyone. My career. Your career? That's what you care about right now? The video is everywhere. My boss called. I'm fired. Do you understand? I'm fired." "Then you understand consequences now." "I hate you." "That's fair. I hate you too." She left, slammed the door. I stood there thinking about 9 years of marriage and how it all came down to that. Sunday morning, disembarkation at 7 a.m. I saw Sarah in the hallway as we left. Jake tried to come to my cabin last night. I didn't let him in. Amanda came to mine. It didn't matter. "Do you regret it?" she asked. "I don't know yet. Ask me in 6 months." We exited together, saw Amanda and Jake separately in the crowd. Amanda surrounded by her parents. They must have seen the video, flown in. Her mother glared at me with pure hatred. Jake was alone, on his phone, face red, arguing with someone. Over the next few weeks, the fallout spread like wildfire. The video hit 2.3 million views. Amanda and Jake's names were searchable. Reddit threads debated whether I was a hero or a villain. I read every single comment and realized I'd never have universal approval. Amanda's upscale dental practice fired her Monday via email. "This doesn't reflect our values." No severance. She applied to 14 positions over the next month. 2 interviews, 0 offers. Eventually took a job at a corporate chain 45 minutes away. $41,000 instead of her previous $58,000. Jake didn't get fired, but he was sidelined. Removed from client-facing roles. Passed over for the VP promotion he'd been in line for. Lateral move to internal operations. Dead end. The divorce settlements hit them both hard. Sarah got 60% of assets. The affair was a factor. Jake had to sell the house. Amanda got 40% in our split. Less than Florida's default because of adultery statutes. I kept the house. No alimony. For the first time in years, I had financial breathing room. Our friend group of 12 split apart. 4 sided with me and Sarah, 2 sided with Amanda and Jake, saying the public humiliation was too far. 6 wanted nothing to do with any of us. Then, 3 weeks post-cruise, I got a call from Amanda's mother. She's in the hospital, psychiatric hold. She tried to hurt herself. My stomach dropped. Are you happy now? You destroyed her. I didn't want this. Then what did you want? You got your revenge. Was it worth it? She hung up. I couldn't eat for 2 days. Called Rachel. She's in the hospital because of me. No, Rachel said firmly. Because of her choices. You exposed it. You didn't create it. But the guilt sat in my chest like a stone. Sarah told me Jake was drinking heavily, lost 15 pounds. A mess. Does that make you feel better? I asked. No, it makes me feel empty. I wanted justice, not destruction. That's the price. We can't undo it. A stranger who saw the video sent me a letter. I was cheated on too. I stayed quiet. Watching your video made me feel seen, but also scared. I don't know if I could do what you did. I responded. First time I'd engaged with anyone online about it. I don't know if I could either, but I did. And now, I live with it. Revenge feels good for 10 minutes. Then you live with the consequences forever. 4 weeks after the cruise, I woke up in my empty house and realized, yes, they face consequences. But so did I. Every single day I remembered the moment I chose public destruction over private pain, and I still didn't know if I made the right choice. But slowly, very slowly, things started to change. 3 months later, January 2025, I established a routine, house to myself. I cleaned out Amanda's belongings, donated most of it, converted the spare room to a home office, started therapy twice a month with Dr. Helen Gardner, started running daily, up to 6 miles, used it to process everything, and I started writing. Not grading papers, actually writing. The novel I'd always wanted to write but never had time for because I was too busy making sacrifices for a marriage that was already dead. In therapy, Dr. Gardner asked, "Do you regret the Gala?" I regret not seeing the affair coming. I regret giving so much of myself to someone who didn't value it. I don't regret making sure the truth came out. But the method? The method was harsh, maybe too harsh, but I'm not sorry for refusing to stay silent. I recognized a pattern. I'd spent my whole life avoiding conflict, making myself smaller so other people could be comfortable. That was over. I joined a local writing group, Thursday nights at a coffee shop in Coral Gables. At my first reading, I shared a chapter about a man who discovers betrayal. The group's response, "This is raw, painful, real." I submitted short stories to literary magazines, 2 rejections, 1 acceptance. Small win, but it mattered. Rachel visited in February. "You look lighter," she said. "Happier even." I don't know about happier, but I'm free. I got closer with David, my colleague. Weekly beers, Sunday basketball. He told me once, "You did what I couldn't, I just took it and swallowed it." I don't know if my way was better, just different. Sarah and I stayed in touch, texted every few days. She sold her house, bought a downtown condo, started dating casually. Got promoted to charge nurse. She was healing too. I tried dating, Hinge, matched with Kate, a marine biologist, coffee date. She asked why my marriage ended. Infidelity, it's a long story. I'm sorry, that must have been hard. The date was fine, not great, not terrible, no second date. I realized I'm not ready, and that's okay. My mother called in March. "Do you think you'll ever forgive her? For cheating? Maybe. For lying for 8 months and making me feel crazy? That's harder. Forgiveness isn't for her, it's for you. I'm working on it, but I'm not there yet." 5 months post-cruise, Amanda emailed. Subject, "I'm sorry." A long apology. Seemed genuine. She admitted she was selfish, hurt, running from problems. She was in therapy, working on herself. Asked if I could ever forgive her, not to get back together, just so I could move on. I read it 10 times, didn't respond for 2 weeks. Finally wrote back, "I appreciate the apology. I'm not ready to forgive yet, but I don't hate you anymore. That's progress. I hope you find peace. M." She never responded. I didn't need her to. Small joys started returning. I laughed at a student's joke, first real laugh in months. I enjoyed reading without thinking about her. I cooked dinner and actually tasted it. I slept through the night without nightmares. I was healing, slowly. But it was happening. 6 months post-cruise, April 2025, Sarah visited Miami for a nursing conference. We met for lunch, sat at an outdoor cafe for 3 hours. "I've been thinking about the Gala a lot," she said. "Me too. I don't regret it, but I think we both have to live with being the people who did that." "Can you?" "I think so. Can you?" "Ask me in another 6 months." We laughed. First light moment about it. We hugged goodbye. I thought, maybe one day when we're both healed, there could be something here. But not now. 1 year after the cruise, October of 2025, I woke up and realized the date. Exactly 1 year. The video still had 4.8 million views. People still commenting. I didn't watch it. Haven't in months. I heard through mutual friends that Amanda was living in Orlando. Dating someone new, working at a dental practice, rebuilding slowly. She'd deleted all social media. Couldn't handle the attention. Jake was still at his tech company, different division, dating sporadically, drinking too much. He tried to friend me on LinkedIn. I declined. Sarah was engaged to someone new, an ER doctor she met at the hospital. She was happy, healed. She thanked me once. That night gave me permission to stop settling. "You gave me permission to stop hiding," I said. As for me, still teaching, got tenure. My novel is 2/3 finished. An agent expressed interest. I'm dating occasionally, nothing serious. I'm okay with that. I'm closer with family. My friend group is smaller, but stronger. The house feels like mine now. I repainted, new furniture, ran a marathon in September, finished in 4:12:33. I was sitting on Miami Beach one Sunday afternoon, the same beach Amanda used to love, and I realized I didn't think about her anymore. I just watched the sunset and felt peace. I spent 9 years trying to make someone happy who didn't want to be happy. I'm done with that. My new philosophy: I will never again make myself smaller for someone else's comfort. A student asked me in creative writing class last month, "What's the bravest thing you've ever done?" I thought about it. I stood up for myself when it would have been easier to stay quiet. It cost me a lot, but I don't regret it. Would you do it again? I hope I never have to, but yes. That night, I sat in my writing room and typed the final paragraph of my novel, the last line. I don't know if I'm a hero or a villain in this story. Maybe I'm both. Maybe we all are. But I'm done apologizing for refusing to be silent. I closed my laptop, turned off the light, and thought, the cruise was a year ago. The betrayal was a year ago. The revenge was a year ago. But my life, my real life, started the day after, and that life is mine now. If you've ever been betrayed, you know that moment when everything changes, when you realize the person you loved never existed, and the life you built was on sand. But here's what I learned. You can rebuild. Not the same way, not the same foundation, but stronger. And if you're lucky, you don't just survive it. You become someone new, someone who sets boundaries, someone who demands respect, someone who refuses to perform happiness while dying inside. Amanda and Jake got their consequences. I got mine too. Guilt, isolation, the permanent record of what I did. But I also got freedom. And 1 year later, as I sit here in this house that's finally mine, writing stories I never had time for, living a life that's actually my own, I'd make the same choice. Not because revenge felt good, but because silence would have killed me. You can't unknow what you know. But once everyone else knows too, you finally get to stop pretending.